Welcome to the Doubles Only Tennis Podcast, where you learn the best doubles strategies to improve your game and win more matches. I'm your host, Will Bocek. This podcast, my website, and my weekly newsletter all focus on the goal of better understanding the sport of doubles and helping players like you improve faster through actionable advice that you can use in your very next match. My goal is to provide the best doubles strategy resources in the world. And to do that, I study, analyze, and work with players at every level of the game, all the way up to the ATP and WTA tours. If you enjoy this podcast, I've created doubles strategy products that go even deeper if you want to take your doubles knowledge to the next level. At the end of this episode, I'll explain more about them, or if you want to learn more now, go to thetennistribe.com/products. Here's today's episode. Hey y'all, this is a conversation I had recently on Instagram Live with Philip from Tweenerhead Tennis. We recorded this the other day after the US Open mixed doubles entry list, I guess you'd call it, came out. And Philip reached out, asked me to come on his Instagram channel and do an Instagram Live. And after we recorded it, I decided that it was good enough to go on the podcast. I thought y'all might want to listen to this. Because it was recorded with our phones, there are a few minor kind of audio issues that we tried to edit as best we can. But just keep that in mind. The audio quality is probably not as good as you're used to on the podcast. But we do react to the initial entry list for the US Open mixed doubles draw. We also talk about what this kind of means going forward for mixed doubles potentially. We talk about the future of doubles and mixed doubles. What we like, what we don't like about the changes the US Open's making, and a lot more. So it's about a 30-minute conversation where you're going to hear kind of my reaction, a little bit of Phil's opinions as well, and a lot of dialogue kind of between us, kind of riffing off of each other based on what the US Open just put out with the lineup announcement. So I'll link to everything in the show notes, including Philip's Instagram channel, which you should definitely follow as well. And I'll also link to the US Open announcement of the mixed doubles teams. So without further delay, enjoy this conversation where we react to the new US Open mixed doubles.
For now, let's kind of jump into why we are here. I mean, you saw the news, you reposted my video, so thank you for that. To kind of start off, what was your initial thoughts when you saw this come out? Because the main reason why why we're doing this live and why I wanted to kind of have more of a public audience, because I wanted to learn more about the US Open mixed doubles, let's just say extravaganza. Because I feel like that's the only way I can describe that. Because when you, and I have it open on my laptop too, the amount of people that are looking at the initial tweet, according to 9 a.m., had over 2.7 million views.
Yeah,
as of
I saw that this morning. Yeah,
it's crazy how some people are really excited about it and some people are on the more, and I think this is where I am currently standing on the line of excellent exhibition match, or someone even tweeted take away people's livelihood, which is a stronger statement to say the least. But for that kind of reception of it, it seems very polar. Right now, you're either really with it or you're not, or you're saying that it's completely against every doubles player that's making a living from doubles itself, right? So what was your initial reaction when you saw this?
I mean, obviously it first came out in March, and then yesterday the lineup comes out. My initial reaction was it had more single stars than I initially would have guessed. like I was surprised by how many of the top 10 they were able to get on both sides. I think it was 9 of 10 for WTA and ATP.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was like a few players I was thinking they'd get like, I don't know, 5 to 7 of the top 10 or something.
Yeah.
And then I thought there would be more doubles players. I knew it would be fewer doubles than singles.
Yeah.
But I thought there would be a few more double specialists. So like I was expecting to see potentially Shea Sue in there. And maybe they asked her and she just said no. I doubt it though, based on looking at the
people,
the initial lineup. And she may end up playing, right? Like this is so early. I mean, who knows if like Raducanu's going to play a mixed doubles event, right? Like she backs out. She's struggled with injuries a lot. So like, so who knows what it'll look like in the end? But yeah, that like, my initial thoughts are definitely like surprised at how many of the top 10 singles players they got. Now that said, like that's awesome for their marketing, right? Like they're able to blow this thing up yesterday. Like over 2 months before it even happens.
Exactly.
And this is something that like tennis has a weird, I mean, I guess the NBA is kind of like this too, where like, you know, you might buy tickets to the Lakers game in 2 months, but then LeBron may sit, right?
Yeah.
Like, so tennis is kind of a weird thing where they can like start selling tickets and announce that Alcaraz and Raducanu are playing together, and then like a week before the event, Alcaraz or Raducanu can just back out, and the person who bought their ticket to see them specifically, like cannot get a refund. Like it's just kind of a weird thing. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't want to like, I don't know, we should all kind of expect changes for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of disappointed. Like and maybe this will happen, but I wanted to see like Shea in there. I thought maybe Siniakova would get a wild card, even though like she doesn't have a ton of big like mixed doubles results, but obviously she's like the best doubles player on the women's tour probably.
Definitely one of the.
I thought like
ones to like.
Yeah.
That has like I just want to jump in there real quick because it's like if you talk Siniakova and you talk about like combination of nationalities, right? Like Danilovic and Djokovic, right? And Tiafoe Keys or like Shelton Townsend, like or Andreeva and Medvedev. If we're going along those routes, like wouldn't you like? I wonder if they even asked Jakub Menchik to play with Siniakova. Like that's another like Czech dominant, like all-star kind of lineup where the guy won his first Masters 1000 and is also one of the big ones that's coming up on the tour, and you're not putting him in here, or like, so kind of going along that thought process.
Exactly. Because she and Mahatch won bronze, I believe, last year at the Olympics. So
who won gold for mixed? Was it? I thought it was gold.
They did win gold. I'm sorry, you're right. My brain was mixing stuff up. Yeah, you're right. No, they did win gold. Yeah, so like that would have made a lot of sense, right? They won gold.
Yeah.
That even slipped my mind when I was talking earlier. So like, yeah, I was expecting to see a few more players like that. Like I definitely expected Townsend to be in because I figured she seems to be like, you know, she's a top like 100 or 60-ish singles player anyways. And like, she seems to be good friends with like Ben Shelton and Tiafoe and a lot of the singles players anyways. So,
and she got good highlights last year when she played with Shelton too. And that was like a big thing that was happening.
She was with Donald Young last year. Yeah.
Was she with Donald Young?
Yeah.
When did she play with Shelton? 2 years ago?
I think that was 2 years ago.
Okay.
I think she and Donald Young made the finals last year, and it was like Donald Young's last tournament.
Last tournament, right, for tennis?
Yeah, exactly. Is there a way I can like put this on Tennis Tribe Instagram Live too?
It should pop up with.
Okay.
It should pop up with. That as well.
I don't know.
When it says when I'm live, it should be you're live as well. So like if I go to Instagram right now,
Yeah, I'm on my personal account on my computer and I see yours, but I'm not seeing like the Tennis Tribe one. But
Hmm. It should it should
anyways,
automatically
okay.
come up as both. So hopefully it does that. Maybe I'll just
Um, so, yeah, that was kind of my initial thoughts, but yeah, like I said, I mean, we're gonna see. A lot of people are upset about like the format, which they have been since March.
yeah, that's
Which
another
is
one that I
like,
think.
I don't know. I was thinking like more about it this morning, before
Yeah.
the call, kind of rereading um, the announcement from the U.S. Open
Hmm.
on their website, and like, they've totally overhauled the event, right? Like,
Yeah.
so the but I will say, like, the event staying the same as it was, like,
Hmm.
it was good. Like, as a big doubles fan and like people who are super into tennis,
Hmm.
like, it was good. Like, it was great. But as far as like growing the sport, and I do think mixed doubles is a massive opportunity to grow our sport,
Yeah.
like, it wasn't really doing that,
Yeah.
not to its full potential. So like, this is a thing where like, I don't love the fact that there's so few double specialists in
Hmm.
the draw. Really, there's only two.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm willing to, I guess, give that up. Like, I get that they just have to make changes and they have to make this work in year one. And the way to do that in the short term is to get the stars, which happen to all be on the singles tour because they don't market the doubles tour. And this
I
isn't like
yeah.
the U.S. Open's fault, right? This is the tour, all of the tournaments, culture
Yeah.
of tennis, whatever it is.
And I
So like,
yeah.
maybe this event blows up and is like huge, and then next year they open it up to 32 and put more double specialists in. And then
Yeah.
over time, it kind of becomes a better blend. And some of those double specialists do become stars through the mixed event
Hmm.
because they beat Alcaraz and Raducanu in the final or whatever it is, you
Hmm.
know?
And I think along those lines, and I've been trying to get a gauge of everyone else's opinion on this too. And it's like the only times we play mixed doubles is during Grand Slams. I mean, they tried it at
Mm-hmm.
Indian Wells this past year, and Andrea and Irani won, I think, Indian Wells this year. They tried that, right?
Uh, uh, Andreeva and
Not
no,
Andrea, Vavasori.
Vavasori and Irani won
Vavasori.
at Indian Wells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they
Yep.
tried it at a Masters 1000 tournament, which is fine. I think they're definitely trying to promote more opportunities for mixed doubles throughout the year. Again, it's one of those very limited competitions that you have to try and trying to see what works and what doesn't. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anything bad, nor have I heard anything big about the Indian Wells mixed doubles event. And with promotion wise, I think from a promoting standpoint, this is their way of doing it in the short term. In the long term,
Yeah.
like you said, hopefully it gets bigger. Hopefully it'll be like a more fun competition and a better way of integrating those singles and doubles players to handle more publicity. And
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
what
100%.
what's coming to my mind too is like if they really want to try new things in doubles or in singles, like all this mic'd up stuff, all this like new kind of integration of fans, like
Mm-hmm.
mixed doubles seems like the perfect way of doing it because of uh it not have let's just say not having all the eyes on it, so it's a good kind of test run. Like they did,
Yeah.
they mic'd up the doubles players in DC. I don't think they have done that again since DC. What was it, last year or the year before?
Yeah.
Um,
It was 2024. Yeah, it was last
it
year.
was last year.
I don't know that they've done that either. They've started to do, I mean, they've done this in singles too. Like they did it with Shelton's dad. They started to do interviewing the coaches like in between sets
Yeah,
and stuff.
which I
And
think
they've
is
done that on
which I think is
doubles
great.
as well. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it is kind of a ground for experimentation, and Mixed would be a good way to do that. I think there will be a lot of eyes on it this year, though, because it looks like it's going to be on ESPN2 both days.
Yeah, and they're putting it towards, and I'm rereading the article now. It's the semifinals and finals will air on ESPN2 in prime time, while
Wednesday.
So and then the first and second rounds will be on ESPN2, ESPN News, and ESPN Plus, which is great because you want to push that, right? You want to push it on all these extra platforms to kind of help with promoting the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask you this, and I don't know if this is controversial or not, but when you have it as a Fast Four format, do you really want to consider it like a Grand Slam anymore competition?
Yeah.
Because I personally, and I've said this before when I've done videos playing tennis and playing tournaments, but how can you consider it a Grand Slam if you're playing a Fast Four set? I personally don't like that format because it doesn't give enough rhythm and it's supposed to be quicker, but that's like saying, oh, let's play baseball with 7 innings instead of 9. Let's not play the full thing out. Let's shorten it and hopefully it keeps people's attention for a longer period of time.
Yeah. It's it seems like so I guess there's two perspectives. One is I talked with somebody who helped put this together at the USTA, and they told me they're absolutely going to call it a Grand Slam.
Okay,
whoever wins this, they're going to say they are US Open Grand Slam champions. And I pushed back a little bit. I was like, well, it's Fast Four. A lot of people are saying this is more like exhibition. And he was like, well, I mean, they're entitled to their opinion, but that's what we're going to call it. So, I mean, that's fine. I think people within the tennis world like us, most people I've talked to, question calling it a Grand Slam, similar to you. Not only is it Fast Four, the finals is to 6, which is something, but the first 3 rounds is not. So not only is it Fast Four, but it's also one less match. So historically, the mixed, or at least in recent history, that has been 32 teams, and now it's only 16. So it's a lot less tennis than it used to be to win the mixed title. And I guess the other argument that I would say is probably the better argument for not calling it a US Open mixed champion is you're not going to have the best mixed doubles teams in the world playing in this. You've got Irani and Vavasori, who are the best mixed doubles team in the world right now. They won the US Open last year. They lost the Australian Open. They won Indian Wells, which had 12 teams. So it's not much different than this. It had 12 teams, and you played sets to 6. So it's not much different than this. And then they just won the French Open. So they're the best team in the world in mixed doubles right now.
Yeah.
But you don't have Shea Su Wei, who won 2 Grand Slam titles in mixed last year. You don't have Desiree Kravchuk, who has 4 Grand Slam mixed titles, and she just made the semis and lost 10-7 in the third. She and Neil Skupski are certainly one of the top mixed doubles teams in the world. So you don't actually have the best teams in the tournament. So and it's not because they don't want to be there. So
it's not they're choosing to avoid it. I want to point out too that the names that the US Open put out in their graphic, and just to let people know, there are there's 1, 2,
it's
3,
14 teams.
14 teams on the graphic, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, but 14 teams on the graphic, that's not guaranteed all of them are playing it. These are just people that have signed up. I
don't know what they call it. I mean, I guess committed or
it's so I think that's another thing that people are forgetting, that with this graphic, yeah, it's going to spark a lot of controversy and it's going to spark a lot of attention. That's why the tweet has probably 3 million views now. But you also have to remember that probably half of these people that are in this graphic are not going to play.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment. If it's less than half, it won't be much less, I would imagine.
Because if it's supposed to be 16 teams, 8 are direct entries based on combined singles ranking. That's another thing. And then 8 receiving wild cards. They're probably going to give more than half of the wild cards to Americans, and then the rest are probably going to be like big names for their wild cards, and then direct entry based on singles ranking is going to be probably like Tiafo and Keys.
Yeah.
So it's like, which one is the USTA going to prioritize when picking these teams, or is it going to be I'm putting this in quotes because a random draw is going to be very different.
Yeah.
If this all comes out and it's like, oh, look, half of the teams that were on this graphic actually made it, and maybe 2 double specialist teams are making it, whether or not they want to play or not. So just like the idea of like who's going to be prioritized in a random draw versus like who's actually going to play, and maybe like 2 teams of double specialists are going to play in the draw. And whether or not they accept to play or not is on them.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think my headphones are done. We're just going to take them off. Yeah, so I think in terms of the draw, I mean, like you said, the big thing is like we don't know how many of these people are going to play. But one thing, I mean, they're really trying to make it work, right? Like the US Open really wants this to be successful, mainly like probably on ESPN. Because
so they want to get all the stars.
Well, yeah, then they can come back to ESPN next year and be like, okay, like I don't know how long their contract for this with ESPN is. I would guess it's only 1 year, right? And it's like, okay, y'all saw what it can do, like it works. So they really want to get as many of these top 10 players on the single side to play. And one of the ways they're trying to do that is this large prize money. To win $1 million for a mixed event is
unheard of.
It's a lot. I think the total purse for the mixed event last year was $600,000.
Yeah.
So the winners got, I think it was like 2 something or 3 something. So it's like more than triple the prize money this year.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's going to be interesting to see. Like I would guess early on in the draw, you know, your players like Djokovic and Alcaraz and Sabalenka, like they're gonna try, but it's gonna be pretty casual, and they're gonna be laughing and having fun. But once you get to the semis and finals, like it becomes a little bit more real money, and it'll depend who's there, right?
Yeah.
Like Djokovic does not need $500,000, right? Neither does like Sabalenka, but like that would matter for somebody like Taylor Townsend or like Danilovic, right?
Yeah.
Like she's not like making money like some of these top players. So I think I think it'll be interesting to see that. And then Arani and Vavasori will obviously like be putting in max effort throughout. Because they're going to want to win this thing to kind of, I would guess, like prove a point and, you know, maintain their dominance on the mixed doubles, the few mixed doubles tournaments we do have. And as doubles fans, I think that's who most of us are going to be rooting for.
Oh, 100%.
Right? I think it'd be really cool to see that.
I think so too. But in terms of like players like that, when you look at doubles players, and you obviously have had a lot on your podcast, you've had a lot of people come up to you and talk to you about doubles. So has any pro players come to you and talk to you about what's going on, or has anyone, or have there been whispers of like, there's so many singles player in this, why would I play this? Or is there like any notion, I'm not going to say boycott, but is there any pushback from doubles players that you've heard of that are really against this?
Yeah. I haven't talked to any since this came out yesterday.
Okay.
So, or not directly. I think like Ellen Perez put some stuff out on Twitter. But it wasn't too controversial. I think it was more back in March. It was announced, and then at that time I got to go, a week or two later, got to go to Indian Wells and chat with a lot of players and coaches and media. And um, yeah, I mean, a lot of the players, there, I think there was a few different, I guess, takes on it. Like a lot of them were upset, and most of the ones who were upset like expressed it on Twitter and Instagram, right? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't, they're not like opening up to me and saying don't share this information. Like they're opening up on social media too.
Yeah.
So a lot of the players were upset, and then some of them were like, I'm disappointed, but I understand. Like,
Yeah.
so, but I think for me, like the response, maybe not responsible, the mature way to take this, if you are a double specialist, is like, and I talked about this with Dan Kiernan on our double special episode that we did, and we published it on both of our podcasts. But we talked about how like this should be kind of maybe a little bit of a kind of a kick in the ass for double specialists. Like, look, this is going to be taken out from under you. Like, you've got to start taking a lot of this into your own hands. And some of them do, to be fair. Like, we just mentioned Ellen Perez, like, she's on the Players Council and she's, like, doing what she can to help make things better. But there are a lot of players on the men's side, and even on the women's side as well. Although women's doubles isn't in as bad of a spot as probably men's doubles. In terms of popularity for a number of reasons. But there are players on both sides who just show up to the tournament, play tennis, collect their paycheck, go home. And, like, that's fine. But if more announcements come out that are kind of undercutting the double specialists, like, you don't really have a leg to stand on and complain if you haven't been doing anything to try to help. So I'm hoping that more players will continue to kind of push and, come on my podcast and like promote themselves on social media, do like do your own, like, I don't know, day in the life of a doubles player blog or something. I don't know, whatever it is.
Just something more social where people are now interacting with the person rather than the player.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's how marketing works nowadays. It's like stuff like this, just have a conversation on Instagram Live or, post something on Facebook or TikTok or whatever. Like, just show your personality off a bit more in the public eye. Because ultimately, if you want more prize money, like, you're going to end up being a public figure, and
you're going to have to do more. And I think we see that too. And I think it's more in other countries than it is the United States. The United States is just saturated with sports influencers and tennis influencers, and there's so many other sports ahead of tennis that if you look at, let's go Bolelli and Vavasori or Paolini, like you look at the country of Italy, like those guys are getting sponsorships like they're single stars, excluding Paolini and Sinner and you have these players that are getting sponsorships because they have countries that believe in them, and not saying that other countries don't, but it's when you invest in someone to make them more of a popular person rather than just a tennis player, it goes a longer way than just like showcasing them once and then never talking about them again.
Yeah. It's got to be consistent. And I mean, the big message for the players is like the tournaments, the tours are not going to do this for you. Like they've kind of proven that. Like we looked at, I watched Roland Garros. Every morning I was sitting in this exact chair and I had my work on my screen over here and the doubles matches over here. And, was scrolling on Twitter and looking at Instagram every now and then. And like the Roland Garros Twitter and Instagram account just did not post about doubles. It just didn't happen. So it was like, I don't know, 0.1% of their posts throughout the tournament were about doubles. And the first one, I think, wasn't until like the quarterfinals of the doubles draw. And it's a draw of 64.
Yeah.
So like,
and it's a huge draw. You would think that they would have some.
yeah,
There's
there just needs to be
got to
some
be
kind of
one
quota.
point
But
or 2 points that are like, oh, hey, look at what happened.
yeah. But again, it's not just Roland Garros. Like it's just the culture of tennis. We don't promote doubles, and it's like social media is such a cheap, easy way to do it for these tournaments, and they just don't care. And I think eventually, it's going to get undercut, or just something's going to change. And this is a time where I'd encourage doubles players to bring it into their own hands.
Yeah. And I think, like, and I will say this, and I do appreciate you doing this live with me, Will. I really do. But to give you one more, like, talking point is, like, you look at all these players in the United States, the casual players, country club players, players that play for fun. The number, probably, guess how many of those players play singles versus doubles? They're probably playing more doubles.
Yeah. I mean, certainly in the U.S., it's definitely more doubles heavy. Some people tell me in Europe a lot of even like older players play a lot more singles. Maybe that's partly due to like more clay court access, so it's easier on the body, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also heard from some people like that there's, I don't know. I've talked to some people from Germany actually who've told me like, no, like we don't play that much singles. Like we actually do play a lot of doubles. So I think it's more. There's certainly more doubles in the U.S. as far as the ratio goes, but it's both. I mean, it's really worldwide. Like I was in Australia earlier this year and went to this local club near Melbourne Park and had some lunch with some people who listen to my podcast, and we were overlooking all these tennis courts, and like there wasn't anybody playing singles. Like it was all doubles. So yeah, I mean it's certainly more popular at the club level, recreational level, adult level, the doubles, and I think because of that, it's got potential. We've just got to deliver it to them in the right way. And right now, we're delivering singles to them in the right way, and we're basically only delivering singles to them. So that's what they're consuming, you know?
I
think
agree.
it's kind of that simple.
I totally agree with that. And Will, thank you so much for doing this live. I really do appreciate talking about this. We're going to share this video on our Instagram feed as well. So if people haven't been able to watch this throughout the day, they can check it out later. But make sure to follow Will, who is very graciously following us, talking to us about all of this doubles news, content. Definitely worth following. Will, what's the next project you're working on? Because I saw the one that you did with Tennis Warehouse. That was really cool to see at Indian Wells, talking about from the court level. What's your next big project that you can tell us about?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got to stand behind the court with two men's doubles teams, one of them who won the Australian Open earlier this year. And we basically commentated on their doubles practice for about 30 minutes or so. So if people haven't seen that on YouTube, if you're into doubles and strategy, like it was super cool. I got some really good feedback on it.
Awesome.
Next up is so I've just relaunched our membership on my website. So that's for adult club level players who want to improve their doubles game. I've got a lot of like premium content and lessons. So I've just relaunched that, and from here it's going to be kind of marketing that a bit more, getting the message out there, and then I'm going to be at the U.S. Open. I'll be actually running a doubles camp there, which we'll be announcing soon. And then I'll probably either go to Cincinnati or DC, some lead-up tournament, hopefully at least for a couple of days. So I'm going to have some meetings there, try to set up a bunch of podcasts, and hopefully continue to fight the good fight for the doubles tour. So
I love that.
That's the plan for the rest of the year. So Anyways, I appreciate you having me on, and definitely, send me the recording. Maybe we can, I can publish it on our podcast and get some more listeners out there.
I would love to. Again, thank you so much, Will. Thank you to everyone that tuned into the live stream. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, check out our YouTube channels, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Doubles Only podcast. If you're interested in diving deeper into any topics I discuss, I've created doubles strategy products that allow me to bring you more podcasts and other doubles content without relying on paid ads. I have ebooks and courses that help you make better strategic decisions during matches and become the smartest player on the court. Go to thetennistribe.com/products to learn more. You can also join my free weekly doubles strategy newsletter that includes video lessons and more on our homepage. If you want to connect, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or email me directly, will@thetennistribe.com.